You walk through the world believing you're ordinary. Not ugly, not striking, just there. You've trained your eyes to look for loud proof, open praise, bold moves, clear signs. When they don't appear, you assume the verdict is in, average at best. But the truth doesn't live in noise. It lives in patterns. And the first pattern you missed is this. Real attraction hides itself. Women rarely announce interest. They protect it, they soften it, they disguise it as nothing. So when you judge your value by what is obvious, you start blind. The men who rely on silence, posture, and calm often never hear applause, yet they hold the room. Think back to moments that felt small at the time. A look that lingered half a second too long. A woman who found reasons to be nearby without saying why. A conversation that slowed when you spoke. You dismissed these as coincidence because you were waiting for fireworks. That mistake costs men years. Female attraction works through safety and timing, not display. When a woman feels something, she measures risk first. She watches, she tests, she stays indirect. Men who don't understand this mistake quiet interest for absence. Attraction rarely knocks, it watches. And if you don't know what watching looks like, you walk past your own value. You also compare yourself to the wrong men. You look at the loud ones, the flashy ones, the men who perform. You don't notice that performance often replaces substance. Quiet men with standards don't sell themselves. They don't need to. They move slower. They speak less. They choose carefully. This reads as confidence to women, but as invisibility to the man himself. You assume confidence must be announced. It doesn't, it's felt. And when a man carries himself without urgency, women notice. They may not reward it with words, but they respond with attention that never quite leaves. Watch how rooms behave when you enter them. Not faces, energy. Conversations shift. Bodies turn, space opens. These are not accidents. Humans react to status the way animals react to hierarchy. Without thinking, people adjust around men they sense as grounded. Women do this even more. They don't stare, they check. Again and again. Quick glances, peripheral watching. Positioning. You thought it meant nothing because no one told you it meant something. But repeated attention is never random. What returns to you is what values you. You've also misunderstood compliments. Women don't praise men the way men praise women. They speak around the thing, not at it. They mention your presence, your calm, your voice, how they feel near you. You brush this off because it didn't sound like desire. But desire often hides behind safety. When a woman says she feels at ease with you, she's describing attraction filtered through trust. Men who hear this and think it's neutral miss the signal entirely. Women don't relax around men they don't notice. Then there's the way people defer to you without asking. Group decisions drift your way. Others wait for your response before committing. When you speak, people listen longer than politeness requires. This is the halo effect at work. Attractiveness bleeds into perceived competence. You thought leadership was earned only through action. In truth, presence sets the table before action ever begins. Men who have it don't feel it. They live inside it. That's why you think it's normal. You've seen mirroring and ignored it. A woman shifts when you shift, matches your pace, copies your tone, picks up your phrases over time. This isn't politeness, it's alignment. Humans mirror what they want connection with. Women do this unconsciously when attraction is present but unspoken. You didn't register it because you were taught attraction must be direct. That belief makes subtle men doubt themselves, while louder men overestimate themselves. The men most aware of their flaws often carry the most value. You also suffer from baseline blindness. The respect you receive feels ordinary because it's constant. You don't know what it's like to be ignored, talked over, dismissed. So you assume everyone lives like this? They don't. Many men fight for basic attention and never get it. You get it without asking, so you think it's nothing. This is why attractive men often feel average. They compare up, not out. They look at ideals, not reality. Humility clouds measurement. What happens when you start to see this clearly is not arrogance. It's calibration. You stop chasing signs that were never meant to be loud. You stop discounting yourself because someone else was noisier. You begin to notice the pattern repeating across places, groups, years. The same behaviors, the same attention, the same pull, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The story you told yourself starts to crack. Not because you became someone else, but because you finally saw who you already were. And this is only the surface. Because once you recognize that your value has been there all along, a harder question appears. What happens when you stop underestimating yourself and start acting in line with it? That shift changes how others treat you and how you choose. That's where the real divide begins. The mistake most men make is thinking attraction announces itself. They wait for words. They wait for certainty. They wait for permission. But attraction, real attraction, moves quietly. It hides in behavior, not speech. By the time a woman feels safe enough to be obvious, her interest has usually peaked or faded. What you missed wasn't absence, it was subtle presence. And the men who don't understand this spend years believing they were invisible, when in truth, they were simply inattentive. A woman who finds you attractive begins to manage distance without realizing it. She doesn't rush toward you. She slows down near you. She lingers where you are, not close enough to be exposed, not far enough to disconnect. This is not random, it's instinct. Her body seeks proximity while her mind protects her pride. Men who don't recognize this think nothing is happening. But something is always happening before anything happens. Eye contact becomes her safest risk. Not the dramatic stare, not the bold look, but the held glance that lasts a fraction too long, followed by a quick withdrawal. The mistake men make is dismissing the withdrawal. They think interest vanished. In reality, it intensified. She looked away because staying would reveal too much. And when that same glance happens again later and again after that, it's no accident. It's assessment, it's curiosity. It's attraction testing itself. Her body starts to speak before she does. She mirrors your posture, your rhythm, your tone. This isn't flirtation learned from movies. It's unconscious alignment. People align with what they value. When she matches your pace, your calm, your energy, she's sinking. And sinking only happens when the nervous system feels drawn, not threatened. Men who underestimate themselves never notice this because they're too busy wondering if they're good enough to see that they're already being followed. Then there's positioning. She places herself where you can see her without having to look for her. In your line of sight, near your space, within your orbit. She creates reasons to pass by, to join conversations you're in, to exist where your presence already is. This isn't coincidence. Women are strategic without being conscious of it. And men who think attraction is loud miss the quiet math happening right in front of them. Social dynamics shift around you when you're more attractive than you realize. Conversations slow when you speak. People turn their bodies toward you. Decisions pause until you weigh in. This isn't because you demanded authority. It's because presence commands it. Attraction creates a halo. Others assume competence, confidence, value. You don't notice because it feels normal to you. But normal to you doesn't mean average. It means you've adjusted your baseline without realizing it. Other men notice before you do. Some grow competitive. Some become quieter. Some copy you, style, posture, tone, habits. Men imitate what works. They compete with what threatens. If your presence causes either reaction, it's not accidental. Men don't compete with men they don't respect. And they don't copy men they don't admire. These reactions are reflections of value, not ego. Women respond differently too. Compliments stop being about looks and start being about feeling. You're different. You're calming. I don't know what it is about you. These are not vague statements. They're admissions of attraction that hasn't been fully translated into language yet. When a woman can't articulate why she's drawn to you, it usually means multiple signals are aligning at once. And complexity often reads as mystery. You also become memorable. Not because you tried to be impressive, but because your presence lingered. She thinks about conversations after they end. She remembers how she felt, not what was said. Men who think attraction is about lines miss this entirely. Attraction is emotional residue. If your interaction leaves a trace, you mattered. And if you mattered without trying, you're more attractive than you think. The cruel irony is that men with higher standards often doubt themselves more. They compare upward. They measure themselves against ideals, not averages. Meanwhile, men with less to offer overestimate their appeal because they don't know what they're missing. This inversion hides the truth from the very men who need to see it most. The men women notice quietly are often the men who overlook themselves. If you've ever felt like attention follows you without announcing itself, like opportunities appear without explanation, like people assume things about you that you never claimed, this isn't luck. It's perception, and perception shapes reality. The moment you understand how attraction actually works, you stop waiting for proof and start recognizing patterns. And once you see the patterns, you can't unsee them. The moment arrives quietly, not with applause, not with a confession, but with a shift inside you. You realize the problem was never your face, your height, or your luck. It was the lens you used to judge yourself. You measured attraction by noise, by obvious signals, by movie scenes that trained you to expect fireworks. Real attraction is quieter. It lives in patterns, in repetition, in gravity. Once you see that, you can't unsee it, and everything that once felt confusing starts to line up with brutal clarity. You begin to understand why attention came and went without explanation, why some rooms felt warmer when you entered, why conversations bent toward you without effort, why certain women watched first, moved later, and spoke last. None of it was random, it was assessment. Women don't announce interest the way men do. They place themselves near value. They observe it under pressure. They test it with time. The fact that you didn't notice was never proof of absence. It was proof of subtlety. This is where most men finally get it wrong again. They think recognizing their attractiveness means acting louder, talking more, performing confidence. But real confidence doesn't add anything. It removes doubt. When you stop chasing proof, your posture changes. Your voice slows, your eye contact steadies. And ironically, the less you seek validation, the more freely it appears. Attraction responds to self-trust the way shadows respond to light. You start noticing how often people assume things about you without asking. They expect competence, they expect leadership, they expect options. This projection isn't accidental. It's the halo effect at work. The mind's shortcut when it senses coherence between how a man looks, moves, and decides. You didn't earn this by trying to be impressive. You earned it by being consistent. Consistency is rare. That rarity reads as value. Women respond differently now, not because they changed, but because you did. Or rather, because you stopped trying to be seen and allowed yourself to be observed. They comment on your presence instead of your looks, on how grounded you feel, on how conversations feel easier around you. These are not vague compliments. They are admissions that your nervous system is steady, and steady systems are safe to approach and hard to forget. You also see why some men react to you with friction. Competition appears where there was none before. Subtle interruptions, one-up stories, passive tests. These aren't insults. They're tells. Men only compete with men they register. Respect shows up in two forms, alignment or resistance. Either way, it confirms position. You no longer take it personally. You take it as information. As time stretches forward, the compounding effect becomes obvious. Opportunities multiply not because you chased them, but because you became easy to place. Social circles widen. Invitations come without effort. Your name travels ahead of you. Reputation is attraction at a distance. When people speak well of you in rooms you've never entered, your value is already working for you before you arrive. Age begins to favor you instead of threatening you. Experience sharpens your judgment. Failure smooths your ego. Success calms your urgency. You speak less, but when you do, people listen. This is the kind of attractiveness that doesn't peak and fade. It stabilizes, it deepens. Men who understand this stop racing time and start using it. The final shift is internal. You stop asking where you rank and start choosing where you belong. You don't settle out of doubt. You don't overreach out of fantasy. You calibrate. You select environments that amplify your strengths and relationships that respect your boundaries. This is what self-knowledge buys you. Leverage without force. Most men never reach this point because they're waiting for permission. A compliment, a signal, a moment of certainty. But certainty is built, not given. Once you recognize the signs that were always there, confidence stops being an act and becomes a baseline. And from that baseline, everything improves. How you walk into rooms, how you speak to women, how you choose your life. If this changed how you see yourself, don't keep it to yourself. Apply it, pay attention, move with intent. And when you're ready, say YouTube details and I'll give you the title, description, hashtags, tags, and thumbnail caption to package this story properly.